If you're dairy-free, brunch can feel like a minefield of omelets made with cheese and pastries loaded with butter, leaving you stuck with a sad fruit plate. But these recipes prove that skipping dairy doesn't mean skipping flavor or comfort, and they're actually easier to pull off than you'd think. One trick in this roundup uses a simple ingredient swap that gives you that rich, creamy texture without any milk or cream in sight. Stick around because you'll see how each idea builds on simple ingredients you probably already have in your pantry. Whether you're hosting a lazy weekend gathering or feeding picky eaters who don't even notice the swap, this collection makes everyone feel included at the table. Think fluffy pancakes with a golden crisp edge, savory hash that tastes indulgent, and a silky smoothie bowl that feels like a treat. You might be surprised by how many classic brunch favorites can be recreated without a drop of dairy. Let's dive into this set of options that are sure to become your new go-to brunch lineup. Let's kick things off with a stack of fluffy pancakes that taste just like the classic version. These are perfect for a dairy-free brunch because they skip the milk and butter without losing any of that soft, tender texture. You start with a simple batter made from coconut flour, eggs, and a splash of your favorite plant-based milk. A little vanilla extract and a pinch of salt bring out all the cozy flavors you crave on a lazy weekend morning. They cook up golden brown in just a few minutes, filling your kitchen with that irresistible pancake aroma. For an easy swap, you can use almond flour instead of coconut flour. Just adjust the liquid so the batter stays thick and pourable. Everyone will love how light and satisfying these are, especially when topped with fresh berries and a drizzle of maple syrup. Once you've mastered these, you'll be ready to move on to another brunch favorite that's just as simple and delicious. Next up is a hearty sweet potato hash that brings all the savory goodness to your brunch table. This dish works beautifully for a dairy-free spread because it relies on olive oil and spices instead of butter or cream. You simply dice sweet potatoes into small cubes and toss them with chopped onions and bell peppers. Everything gets roasted in the oven until the edges are crispy and the insides are tender and sweet. A sprinkle of smoked paprika and garlic powder adds a warm, smoky depth that makes this hash incredibly addictive. If you want to add some protein, toss in some cooked chickpeas or crumbled tofu during the last few minutes of roasting. Your guests will love how this dish feels both comforting and fresh, with a little crunch in every bite. After this savory start, let's move on to something creamy and cool that balances out the meal perfectly. Now let's talk about a dressing that turns any simple salad into a brunch star. This creamy avocado lime dressing is so rich and tangy, you will not believe it's completely dairy-free. It's a fantastic addition to your brunch because it adds a fresh, zesty kick without any heavy cream or yogurt. You just blend a ripe avocado with fresh lime juice, a handful of cilantro, and a little olive oil until smooth. A splash of water helps thin it to the perfect pourable consistency, and a pinch of salt brings all the flavors together. This dressing comes together in under 5 minutes, making it a lifesaver when you're juggling multiple dishes. For a nut-free version, skip any nut-based milk and just use extra water or a splash of coconut milk for creaminess. Everyone will be asking for the recipe after they drizzle it over a simple mix of greens, cherry tomatoes, and crunchy cucumbers. With that bright flavor in mind, let's move on to a warm, savory option that's perfect for scooping up with toast. We've just gone through 18 dairy-free brunch ideas, and I'd love to hear which one you're most excited to try. Maybe the fluffy pancakes caught your eye, or the savory quiche looked perfect for a weekend gathering. Drop your answer in the comments. It helps me know what kind of recipes you want more of. While you're there, hit that like button to save this brunch inspiration for later. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our next collection of simple, allergy-friendly meals. These dishes are designed to work for real life, and your feedback makes them even better. So take a second to share which brunch idea is calling your name. I read every comment, and I can't wait to see what you choose. This spinach and mushroom frittata is the kind of dish that feels fancy but is secretly super easy to pull off. It's ideal for a dairy-free brunch because it uses silken tofu or chickpea flour instead of eggs and cheese. You start by sautéing sliced mushrooms and fresh spinach in a little olive oil until they're soft and fragrant. Then you pour in your blended tofu mixture, seasoned with nutritional yeast, turmeric, and black salt for that eggy flavor. It bakes up in the oven until the top is golden and the center is perfectly set, with no cracking or sinking. If you want to switch up the veggies, try adding roasted red peppers or sun-dried tomatoes for a different twist. Your guests will love how this frittata slices cleanly and holds together, making it a beautiful centerpiece for the table. Once you've got that warm, savory dish ready, let's shift gears to something sweet and fruity that feels like a treat. This berry chia seed jam is a simple, no-cook way to add a burst of fruitiness to any brunch plate. It's perfect for a dairy-free menu because it uses chia seeds to thicken naturally, without any pectin or gelatin. You just mash fresh or frozen berries with a little maple syrup and a squeeze of lemon juice. Then you stir in chia seeds and let the mixture sit for about 15 minutes until it turns into a thick, spreadable jam. The best part is that you can make it ahead of time and keep it in the fridge for up to a week. For a lower sugar version, use a sugar-free sweetener, or just rely on the natural sweetness of very ripe berries. Everyone will love spreading this jam on toast, pancakes, or even swirling it into a bowl of dairy-free yogurt. With that sweet and tangy note, let's move on to a final dish that brings everything together in one warm, cozy bite. Let's finish this brunch lineup with a loaded avocado toast that's hearty enough to be a meal on its own. This dish fits the dairy-free theme perfectly because it uses creamy avocado and seasoned chickpeas instead of cheese or butter. You start by toasting thick slices of your favorite bread until they're golden and crisp around the edges. Then you mash a ripe avocado with a fork and spread it generously over each slice, leaving some chunks for texture. On top, you add smashed chickpeas that have been mixed with lemon juice, a pinch of cumin, and a little olive oil. For extra crunch, sprinkle on some pumpkin seeds or a handful of fresh arugula right before serving. Your guests will love how this toast feels both indulgent and nourishing, with every bite offering a mix of creamy and crunchy. And with that, you got a full spread of dairy-free brunch ideas that will have everyone asking for seconds. So let's get into the next dish that ties it all together. Next up, we are making banana oat breakfast cookies that feel like a treat but are totally brunch appropriate. These are perfect for when you want something handheld and easy, especially if you are serving a crowd with different dietary needs. You just mash ripe bananas and mix them with rolled oats, a splash of vanilla, and maybe some dairy-free chocolate chips or raisins. The mixture comes together in one bowl with no fuss, and you scoop it onto a baking sheet like regular cookies. They bake up soft and chewy, with a naturally sweet flavor from the bananas that needs no added sugar. A great swap here is using certified gluten-free oats if anyone at the table avoids gluten. People love grabbing these because they feel like dessert but are actually filling and wholesome. Now let's move on to something that brings a little warmth to the table. This next dish is a cozy drink that turns any brunch into a special occasion, creamy coconut milk hot chocolate. It works beautifully for a dairy-free brunch because it feels indulgent without any milk or cream. You simply warm, full-fat coconut milk on the stove with cocoa powder and a touch of maple syrup for sweetness. Whisk it all together until it is smooth and steaming, then pour it into your favorite mugs. The coconut milk gives it a rich, velvety texture that regular hot chocolate just cannot match. For a fun twist, add a pinch of cinnamon or a drop of peppermint extract to change up the flavor. Everyone will feel pampered sipping this, and it pairs perfectly with any savory dish on the table. Next, we have a fresh and vibrant option that adds a pop of color to the spread. If you're loving this roundup of dairy-free brunch ideas, you'll find even more help at www.healthybitestribe.com. Our AI recipe generator lets you swap ingredients instantly to match your dietary restrictions or allergies. You can also use the meal planner to organize a whole week of meals that fit your needs. Saving your favorite recipes and sharing them with family is just a click away. The site is built for people who want to cook healthier without the guesswork or stress. Whether you need egg-free, gluten-free, or nut-free versions, the tools are there to make it simple. This collection of brunch ideas is just the start. The website gives you endless options tailored to you. Head over and see how easy it is to find, plan, and enjoy recipes that actually work for your life. This mango coconut chia pudding is like a tropical vacation in a jar, and it is so simple to put together. It is a great make-ahead dish for brunch because it sits in the fridge overnight and is ready when you are. You stir chia seeds in a coconut milk with a little sweetener, then let it thicken into a pudding-like texture. The next day, you top it with fresh mango chunks and maybe a sprinkle of shredded coconut for crunch. The combination of creamy pudding and juicy fruit is absolutely refreshing and light. If mango is not in season, you can use thawed frozen mango or even diced peaches instead. This dish feels fancy and colorful, but it takes almost no effort to prepare. Let's keep the tropical vibes going with another dish that is perfect for sharing. Savory oatmeal with roasted vegetables might sound unexpected, but it is one of the most satisfying brunch dishes you can make. It is a wonderful dairy-free option because it relies on broth and veggies for flavor instead of milk or cheese. You cook your oats in vegetable broth until they are tender and creamy, then top them with roasted sweet potatoes, bell peppers, and onions. A drizzle of tahini or a sprinkle of nutritional yeast adds a savory, almost cheesy note without any dairy. The contrast between the soft oats and the caramelized vegetables is absolutely delicious and comforting. You can prep the roasted veggies ahead of time and just reheat them when you are ready to serve. People are always surprised by how hearty and flavorful this bowl is, and it keeps everyone full for hours. Next, we are switching gears to something light and refreshing that cleanses the palate. This cucumber mint lemonade is the perfect thirst-quenching drink to balance out a rich brunch menu. It is naturally dairy-free and uses simple ingredients that make it feel crisp and clean. You blend fresh cucumber with water, then strain it to get a smooth, refreshing base. Mix that with fresh lemon juice and a little agave or honey, then stir in lots of fresh mint leaves. Serve it over ice and you have a drink that looks beautiful in a pitcher on the table. For a fizzy version, top each glass with sparkling water right before serving. This lemonade is so refreshing that guests will keep coming back for refills. Now let's finish this section with the sweet and crunchy option that everyone will grab first. These almond flour blueberry muffins are tender, golden, and completely dairy-free, making them a brunch staple. They work perfectly for anyone avoiding grains or dairy, but they taste just like classic bakery muffins. You mix almond flour with eggs, a little coconut oil, and maple syrup, then fold in fresh or frozen blueberries. The batter comes together quickly and you bake them until the tops are lightly browned and springy. The almond flour gives them a moist, buttery texture without any butter at all. If you want a little extra sweetness, sprinkle some coarse sugar on top before baking. These muffins disappear fast because they are soft, fruity, and feel like a real treat. Up next, we have one more dish that brings everything together for the perfect brunch finale. Next up, we are making breakfast tacos that are totally dairy-free and absolutely satisfying. These are perfect for a brunch that feels a little more fun and interactive for everyone at the table. You start by warming up some corn tortillas until they are soft and pliable. The filling is a quick scramble of seasoned tofu or black beans with colorful bell peppers and onions. A drizzle of that creamy avocado lime dressing from earlier brings everything together beautifully. For extra crunch, you can add a handful of fresh cabbage slaw or a sprinkle of hemp seeds. Every bite is a mix of savory, tangy, and fresh flavors that makes you forget all about cheese. These are so easy to customize, and they lead nicely into a sweet dish next. One of the best parts about cooking dairy-free is discovering you're never alone in the kitchen. At Healthy Bites Tribe, we've built a welcoming community for anyone navigating food allergies, intolerances, or healthier eating goals. You can connect with others who truly understand what it's like to swap butter for coconut oil, or find a creamy cheese alternative that works. Share your own brunch creations, ask questions, and get encouragement from real people on similar journeys. To join, visit www.healthybitestribe.com and become part of the conversation. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, hit that button so we can keep bringing you recipe roundups like this one. You deserve a supportive space where your dietary needs are celebrated, not complicated. Let's keep cooking together, one delicious dairy-free brunch at a time. Now let's talk about a layered coconut yogurt parfait that looks as good as it tastes. It is a fantastic dairy-free option for brunch because it comes together in minutes with no cooking required. You simply scoop a thick coconut yogurt into a glass and add a layer of crunchy granola. Then you spoon on some of that berry chia seed jam you made earlier for natural sweetness. Repeat the layers until the glass is full and top with a few fresh berries and a drizzle of maple syrup. If you want a nut-free version, use seed-based granola or toasted pumpkin seeds instead. The creamy, crunchy, and fruity combination feels like a treat but is still light enough for morning. This parfait is so refreshing and it makes you want to keep the brunch going with something warm. These savory chickpea flour crepes, also known as soca, are a simple and protein-packed brunch addition. They work perfectly here because they are naturally gluten-free and dairy-free, yet taste incredibly satisfying. You just whisk chickpea flour with water, a pinch of salt, and some olive oil until smooth. Pour the batter into a hot oiled pan and cook until the edges turn golden and crispy. You can serve them plain with a side of roasted veggies or stuff them with sautéed greens and sun-dried tomatoes. A sprinkle of nutritional yeast gives them a cheesy flavor without any dairy at all. These crepes have a wonderful nutty taste and a soft center that everyone will love. Once you get the hang of them, you will want to try another quick and versatile recipe from this menu. This baked oatmeal is a cozy, hands-off dish that fills your kitchen with the most amazing aroma. It is ideal for a dairy-free brunch because it uses oat milk or any plant-based milk instead of cream. You mix rolled oats with mashed banana, a touch of maple syrup, and a handful of frozen berries. Pour everything into a baking dish and let it bake until golden and set on top. The berries burst open as they cook, creating little pockets of sweet jam throughout the oatmeal. You can swap the berries for diced apples or pears depending on the season. This dish feels like a warm hug in a bowl, and it is hearty enough to keep everyone full. After something so comforting, you might be ready for a final sweet surprise to end the brunch. Sweet potato toast is a fun, grain-free alternative that works beautifully for a dairy-free brunch plate. It is incredibly simple and uses just one main ingredient you probably already have. You slice a sweet potato lengthwise into thin, even slabs that are about a quarter-inch thick. Pop them in a toaster or toast them under the broiler until they are tender and lightly browned at the edges. Top each slice with a generous spread of almond butter and a drizzle of honey or agave. For a savory twist, you can use mashed avocado with a sprinkle of chili flakes instead. The natural sweetness of the potato pairs perfectly with the nutty butter, making every bite satisfying. This last savory option rounds out the menu, and now we have one final dish to finish everything off. For the grand finale, we are making banana bread French toast that is completely dairy-free and absolutely indulgent. This dish turns leftover banana bread into a brunch star, and nobody will guess it is allergy-friendly. You slice your homemade or store-bought dairy-free banana bread into thick pieces. Whisk together some oat milk, a splash of vanilla, and a sprinkle of cinnamon for the batter. Dip each slice quickly and cook them on a griddle until golden brown on both sides. Top with a drizzle of maple syrup, fresh banana slices, and a dusting of powdered coconut sugar. The outside gets crispy while the inside stays soft and almost custard-like. This final dish brings all the cozy, comforting vibes of brunch together, and everyone will be asking for seconds. And there you have it, 18 dairy-free brunch ideas that anyone can make and everyone will ask for. Whether you're avoiding dairy for health reasons or just want lighter, fresher options, this recipe lineup has something for you. Feel free to pick and choose the dishes that fit your taste, your schedule, and your dietary needs. If you enjoyed this collection, please give it a like and consider subscribing so you never miss a roundup like this one. For even more helpful tools, head over to www.healthybitestribe.com. There you'll find an AI recipe generator, a meal planner, and ways to save and share your favorite recipes. You can also join our community chat to swap ideas and get support from people who truly understand allergy-friendly cooking. Thanks for watching, and I hope your next brunch is delicious, easy, and completely dairy-free.